Well, guys, I am done watching the final episode of Prehistoric Planet Season 2, North America. And to be honest, it was actually very good, I have to say. I like in the beginning of the episode, we see a herd of Alamosaurus that are migrating, and we see an older individual, an older male, that succumbs to old age in his 70s. My only issue is that sauropods may have lived longer than 70, possibly, judging by their sheer size. But again, really, maybe it depends on the individual animals. I mean, it's just like with humans. Sometimes humans live 70 to 80s to 90s or even 100 something. But maybe it's like the same thing with sauropods, too. But anyways, so we get to see a troodontids that are trying to rip the hide of the sauropod, but then we see a Tyrannosaurus Rex that um that of course that rips the meat out of the sauropod, and then it attracts other scavengers, which was a Quetzalcoatlus. Um we get to see the Rex fighting with the Quetzalcoatlus, but then we see another Quetzalcoatlus show up, and then they both fight the T Rex. And um, the narrator Ambrose said that T Rex would have to be careful because it didn't want to lose an eye, which would make logical sense. After all, as Darkid pterosaurs probably had a very strong bill to peck. Um, Yeah, so they were both going at it, and it probably seems to be a mating pair of Quetzalcoatlus against a single Rex. But anyways, yeah, so they were both going at it, and the Rex just couldn't take it and ran off, and basically the Quetzalcoatlus won, and they eat as much as they can until, of course, T-Rex shows back, which would probably make sense, really. Maybe T-Rex would be like, screw it, I'm heading back. But then couple of hours later, I'm heading back to chase away those vermin or whatever. As well. And also, judging by, since this is Alamosaurus, this is probably New Mexico or maybe Wyoming or Texas, probably New Mexico. So yeah. And since Tyrannosaurus Rex was found in New Mexico as well, it would make logical sense. But anyways, we get to see I believe some species of mosasaur hunting some ammonites, which was very cool. And yeah, and then we see some triceratops, younger males displaying, with the females showing off, and then we see like some baby trikes as well, and then we see the big boy, the one individual trike that looks like the Yoshi trike with the big ass long horns, big boy, and probably the dominant male. And the fight scene was pretty good too. I know obviously that the big boy, Trike was going to win the fight because he's freaking massive. It's not even a contest, And those younger males are around 6 tons, which I'm actually shocked because, Triceratops should be more than that. But these trikes are probably like, maybe they're not in their prime state anymore or something. While the older individual, he would have been like, obviously he's old, but like he's kind of like between his prime but getting old at the same time, or like he's kind of like middle age or something. um But yeah, he was kicking the 6-ton male's ass, and obviously the one Attenborough said that the big boy was 10 tons or more, which makes sense because Triceratops was a very heavy animal. Anyway, so they were both going at it. They were like, you know, horn attack, like fighting each other. And then we get to see, like in Walking with Dinosaurs, the um one of the trike's horns, like breaks off, not completely break off like in the Torosaurus scene in Walking with Dinosaurs, but like part of the tip of the horn or something, which was pretty cool. And it actually shows that, like, don't mess with the old man. And at first, that when he started to pin the young male to the ground, I thought that he was going to gore the young male to death, just like sometimes like in elephants, sometimes like when they like when they fight each other, and if one of them like trips, sometimes some individual elephants have been known to kill each other. And then it's not just with elephants, it's just also with rhinos and other animals with horns or antlers. But no, he spared the young male's life, and then he mated with one of the females, and yeah. And then we get to see the final scene of Alaska, that a female Nanoxaurus is hunting a flock of Struthiomimus, or yeah, Struthiomimus, I believe. And at first, it was an unsuccessful hunt, but then like later on, she chased the flock again, and then she chases after them until one of them kind of sort of trips, and then she focuses on that individual that's sort of tripping, and then the Nanoxaurus eventually catches it, and she gives it to her family. And yeah, it's very awesome, to see, a mother Nanoxaurus attacking, well, a Nanoxaurus feeding, her family. And, I'm glad that a Nanoxaurus shines in a documentary, of course, even though that it also shined in other documentaries as well, and even season 1. But it felt like Nanosaurus was like the main focus of the story, well, the main focus of that particular scene. So I'm glad for that. My only issue, of course, is that I know that there are gonna people that are gonna rage the comment sections, but Alaska was not cold back then, and even if it wasn't like super super cold. Like, it wasn't an ice age. It was covered in marshlands and Everglades and stuff. Like, it would be like New Jersey at times. Sometimes, in when it's winter in New Jersey, it's like 30s to 40s, sometimes 20 something degrees, but it's rare depending on where you're from in New Jersey. But when it's summer, or spring and summer, it's very cold. But however, it is what it is. Overall, it's a really good episode. I love it. And yeah. Oh, and I also forgot. They also showed a bonus clip on how Triceratops uses its frill, and yeah, it's pretty interesting that Triceratops would have used its frill as for sexual display, or for fighting, or a lot of things. And I also do think that Triceratops would have used its frill to may have look bigger, by scaring a predator away, which I would probably agree. Well, I would, you know, I would think of that as well. But yeah, Triceratops can do anything with its frill for sexual display, for fighting, for defending itself from its kind or predators or whatever. Yeah. But anyways, overall, very good episode of the final episode, and yeah, believe it or not, season 2 is better than season 1. I love it, the story, the action, everything, and the interesting facts about the dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals. So, Prehistoric Planet season 2 did a really good job, and I give it a thumbs up. I gave it a thumbs up. I love it.